There have been some fantastic tactics in this year's Football Manager, and today I'm going to give you my top 5. Now, disclaimer, this is of course my opinion. I cannot pass comments on tactics that I have never used before, so please don't get angry that I've missed a certain tactic out or not included your favourite tactics. But what we can do, however, I'm all here for hearing your tactics. Let me know what you think is the best tactic that you have used in the comment sections. Maybe it is one that I've included. I doubt it, but maybe. Okay, now the reason why that these are my top 5 tactics is because we've pretty much been using these tactics for the majority of the Wonderkid Spotlight videos. Because we've used these tactics enough to know that as long as we put a good player in a certain position, we're going to get the best and most fantastic outcome for a Wonderkid Spotlight, and we're less likely to get sacked and waste our time with these spotlights, because time is money, of course. And all of these tactics will be listed down below in the description to their download links, whether it takes you to a website or it's a download link, a direct download link, because I don't want, people might have websites, they might want to use their website. So if you want any of them, head down there, smash the like button on the way down if you can. That'll be fantastic. Let's aim for 250 likes. I think that's very much achievable. Hit that subscribe button if you are one of the 60% of people in the last 28 days who have not subscribed yet. And let's help me get to that 20k subscriber target. So without further ado, let's take a look at tactic number 5. Okay, so a tactic we are fairly new to using but is really proven to be very strong is RDS Jurgen Klopp's title-winning recreation. We used this most recently for the Savio Wonderkid Spotlight. This fantastic tactic won the League, Cup, and most impressively, the Champions League back-to-back. The shape of this tactic is actually something that rolls back the years of Football Manager. This was the go-to shape that you would use from many of FM a long time ago. Now, of course, we have built different tactics and different shapes to fit different roles. So I'm glad to see this one come back. In particular, I like how it really gets the best out of those inside forwards, something I feel this shape has failed to do in a few years, which leads to this formation being neglected. The false 9 is obviously part of the recreation and maybe something that you could look into change if you had a better suited role for your striker, but that's mainly the only thing I would look to change if I felt like something needed to be changed, that is. I love the 2 midfielder roles of the Mazzala and the box-to-box midfielder, a good combination, and it's really supported well with the ball-winning midfielder on defend behind them to sweep up and break up threats as the aggressor in the front of the back 4. It uses a positive mentality and doesn't overcomplicate on the instructions. Passing into space with a higher tempo, which I really feel looks for those overlapping runs. So having 2 really good wingbacks may be a good idea for this tactic to utilise how often you can find space for them as the inverted forwards or the inside forwards drag defenders into narrow positions. It is of course a gegenpress style tactic, as probably all of these will be, with a much higher attacking line and a higher defensive line using the offside trap and forcing them out wide. There are a few player instructions added to boost the reality of this recreation, but it's all stuff that I do enjoy myself. Really making the most out of these inside forwards and wingbacks as your biggest attacking threats. Now, number 4 on our list is a tactic that we actually focused on recently, made by a good friend of mine, Ryan Cassidy. Of course, I am on about one of his newest creations, Charlene. We looked a lot deeper into that video at the tactic and its results, but here we see a predicted bottom Arminia Bielefeld in 6th place in the Bundesliga. And I bet some of you didn't even know they're in the Bundesliga, let alone any of the players that they actually have. The tactic itself uses a 4-3-1-2 narrow style formation with fantastic use of coverage in areas of the pitch. For instance, the inverted wingback on the right hand side where the Mazzala will drift wide. It has a shadow striker role, something that I am absolutely loving right now that I have never used until this FM. In the video, we actually looked at 4 different teams with this tactic, and every single one of them had the most clear-cut chances created in whatever league they played, including Arminia Bielefeld in the Bundesliga. It uses an attacking mentality, focusing the ball through the middle of the pitch, with a slightly shorter passing style but with extremely high tempo, looking to shift the ball forward as fast as possible to start off attacks, running at the defense and being more expressive. Of course, it is a gegenpress and uses the offside trap with a much higher defensive line. And to be honest, Ryan has made so many incredible tactics that I've featured on this channel that I don't really have to question him. I know what he's capable of. Next up, we have another tactic with the Shadow Striker role. God, I love that role. Now, this tactic is made by Nap. It is a 4-2-3-1. Like I mentioned, that Shadow Striker role, and you may recognize it from the Arsene Zakarian Wonderkid Spotlight. A fantastic role using and utilizing that Shadow Striker role to great effect, as you can see the amount of goals that he's picked up. Nothing too outrageous, and with an attacking mentality, we can see using passing into space and overlapping playing out of defense. It uses a slightly shorter passing directness, but it's still a high tempo. Working the ball into the box, running at the defenders. In transition, of course, it is a gegenpress. Throwing that ball out to the fullbacks, and out of position, we are much higher with a higher defensive line. Again, using the offside trap, tighter marking, being extremely urgent with the pressing, which will mean that you have to use players with high stamina and natural fitness. And with this tactic, we managed to pick up the league and the Champions League. And as you can see on the statistics, we had the most goals, the fewest shots against, the most dribbles made. It just kind of culminated into a very fantastic season. Back-to-back Nap tactics now with his Holy Ghost Fire 4-3-2-1. Now, you might have only seen this tactic a couple of times on the channel. We have used it in 2 Wonderkid Spotlights, one being this, the Makuku one, the greatest ever Wonderkid that Football Manager has ever produced. The advanced forward role just seems to score goal after goal with this formation. What I like most about this is its use of the 2 Shadow Striker. I keep going on about it. 2 Shadow Strikers this time round. We have 2 wingers on support, the deep line playmaker in the midfield, and that is supported with 2 inverted wing backs, which you will find sitting around this position on attacks and very good for breakaway counter-attacks to defend well. Over to the tactical analysis, we have some attacking mentality, and in possession again, we are overlapping very similar to what we had before in the previous tactic. Again, it's a gegenpress, distributing the ball to the fullbacks, and out of position, a much higher line of engagement and a higher defensive line. We're getting stuck in, we're extremely urgent, and we're using tight marking. And it's no surprises that this tactic with Makuku absolutely dominated Spanish football for a very long time. If we take a look at the Champions League, they were always there or thereabouts, losing this time to 3-0 to Real Madrid, but the season before, beating everyone and winning that Champions League, and previously winning it 3 times in a row. What amazes me with this tactic is we have the most goals scored and the fewest amount conceded with the most clean sheets. I mean, the fact that you can score 156 goals and then have 29 clean sheets, it just amazes me. The fact that you can score that many and concede that little, where is the bit in between? Usually that evens itself out. But of course, the #1 spot. Now, if you've watched a lot of these Wonderkid Spotlights, you'll know we have a go-to tactic that we use mainly for strikers, which just seems to always consistently gives us goals with a security, knowing that we can perform well as a team and not get sacked. Of course, I'm talking about a Ryan Cassidy tactic, and of course, I'm talking about the Burning Hammer. Now, we use this tactic for strikers because of the advanced forward role just bags a ton in this tactic. We use it for centre midfielders because whether the player plays in a box-to-box midfielder role or an advanced playmaker, they outperform over any other tactic that we use. We even often use it for attacking wing-backs because it gets so many assists from there. And you might have noticed they are on an attack role as well as the wingers. You will have to have great defensive attributes as well to make sure in the 2 defenders, to make sure that you don't leak goals. But I guarantee if as long as you have some decent wingers, some decent fullbacks, you'll probably score in abundance. Again, an attacking mentality. Again, we are using a lot down the wings, playing out of defense, playing slightly more direct with an extremely high tempo, running out of defense, using those wingers and those complete wing backs, using an attacking width of wide. In transition though is a gegenpress, distributing the ball directly to those wingers using short kicks, and out of possession we are higher line of engagement, a standard defensive line using the offside trap, forcing the opposition out wide, staying on our feet, not committed to too many fouls, using tighter marking with an extremely urgent press and intensity. And I know that this is a Paris Saint-Germain team, but we still have the most goals with 131 and the fewest amount conceded with just 33. Yet again, another tactic which scores so many but leaks very little. And that's my top 5. All of the links to them are down in the description to download. Like the video, comment which one was your favourite or whether you have a different favourite. And of course, be one of those new subscribers helping me get to 20,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.